Digby Scott, what's on your mind?
Silence.
What? How long are you going to keep this up? These are 10-minute episodes.
So a couple of weeks ago, I was off on a bit of a retreat and I got to 5 o'clock one day, I was by myself, and I realised I hadn't talked, I hadn't spoken a word all day.
Yeah.
And that was quite amazing. You know, I had to open my mouth and go, yeah, at 5 o'clock, just to check that my vocal cords were still there.
Did you
And they
talk to
were.
yourself?
No, I didn't say anything. I journaled, I wrote, I went for a walk. I hadn't said a word all day. Didn't talk to myself.
You are so zen now.
But what it got me thinking was how rare that is to happen. Like, you know, humans communicate, we love to connect. But notice your response when I sat there with a bit of silence for, 5 seconds? And you burst out laughing. And I love your face. And what might happen if we held a bit more silence?
I have 3 children. I would love some more silence.
Yeah. Why? What would it give you?
Space to gather my thoughts, maybe.
Like you're doing right now?
Like I'm doing right now. So I meditate every day. And
Yeah.
I'm all about that life. I'm on a spiritual journey, mate. We haven't talked about this.
Mate, I've noticed it.
Even when my outside isn't loud, my inside is.
Yeah.
And I wonder what the connection is between needing a bit of that to shut up so that you can get a bit of this to shut up.
Yeah. It's interesting because personally, and I'm wondering whether this is true for others, is that if that bit shuts up, this dials up and it gets louder. And do we really want to listen to what's in here on 10? Is that a little bit terrifying, maybe?
I mean, yeah, but if you don't feel it, you can't heal it. And if you can't hear it, you can't argue with it, right?
That's so zen, isn't it? If you don't feel it, you can't heal it. And maybe that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how
You don't
often
want to,
do
right?
we have that silence around us at work? It's interesting, right? So the headphone thing, I'm coding or I'm writing a policy thing or whatever. But even that's not silence.
Well, hold on. Okay, there's grades of silence. There's different versions of it.
Nice.
Because there's awkward silence, which is where you're sitting with the person, but you're both like, "Ugh," right? And then there's, like, my very best friends in the world, one of the things I like the most about being with them is the lack of pressure that comes with that company. So I can just turn up at their house, take my bra off, make a cup of tea, sit on the couch, not say a word to anybody, and there is nothing awkward about it.
Yeah.
But I think there's that, or then there's silence like it's tense and we're waiting for someone else to say something because we're both sitting inside uncomfortable somethings. Or then there's silence which is peaceful, just like we don't need to say anything right now because this is just great and we're in it and we're looking at the water and having a beer. I mean, there's so many versions of silence. What one do you want?
I want the peaceful one.
Yeah.
Yeah, about a week ago, we sent a bunch of people, we were running a workshop and we were down the waterfront in Wellington and we said, okay, come outside. Don't take your journal, don't take your phone, don't take your watch, just bring yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And on Outward Bound, they do this thing called solo, where you go for 2 or 3 nights in the bush by yourself and you're not allowed to leave a perimeter for about 10 metres or something, a radius of 10 metres. And you have to stay there by yourself for 2 or 3 days. Got to bring your food and stuff. And we gave them a mini solo and we said, we just dropped them off along the waterfront, 100 metres apart roughly. And we said, not allowed to leave the spot and we're not going to tell you how long we're going to be gone for. We'll come and pick you up when we're ready. And you could see some people's faces just like, ugh, this is going to be really uncomfortable. And others was like, hell yeah, I've been waiting all my life for this. Yeah. And had no idea how it was going to be. And about 45 minutes later, we came back and picked them up. But so like, got to walk back in silence, no talking, and then sit with your journal when you get back. And people reported, some people were like, that was an hour I'm never going to get back in my life. I've got too many other things to do. And others are like, my God, that felt like a day. And then others was like, oh man, I could have sat there all day.
Yeah.
So we're all different, aren't we?
I think so, but I think it's impossible to get perspective if we can't switch off some of the sources of noise, whether it's outside or inside.
That's right.
So one thing I've started doing this year that I really like is, so I'm a runner, right? And I've always run with music. And the last few months I haven't.
Yeah.
I've just been running.
What are you noticing?
I notice the first half is really hard. So if I do an out and back, the out, it's going constantly. I don't even need the music because I'm playing songs in my head, and the songs are competing, and they're competing with my thoughts and my stress, and it's all there. The back I'm good. My body feels different. I'm in it. I'm calmer.
Yeah, then there's something about the wind down process. Say, like when I was away on this retreaty thing, it wasn't until about day 3 that I did the silence thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have done day 1 because that was the out, right? That was the whole noise in my head, settling down. Yeah. So it's a interesting topic.
Something you talk about a lot that I have just started learning to do is noticing, right? And I'm wondering how it's possible for us to notice anything if everything's so loud.
Or we're being too busy. So what have we just sat and noticed? That's what they said on the waterfront. A couple of them said, I just noticed stuff I'd never seen before about people, about the details or on the ground, and just that. And what are we missing?
Yeah, and if you take that into your life or into your work, whether it's what your kids aren't saying to you, what your people are experiencing that you're not picking up on or able to detect, what's happening in the sector, what's happening in your industry, that if you just shut up for a minute, you'd actually notice a shift.
Yeah.
All of that observation and awareness requires switching off some of the noise.
That's right.
And I think if we take silence as a metaphor rather than actual silence, I think we could do with a whole lot more of it.
Love it. How are you with silence?
That's really good.